The popularity of the internet has brought many conveniences to people. Accessing the internet has become something that most people do every day. But have you heard that certificates are also required to access the internet? This happened in China. In fact, Chinese people live in double prisons, visible and invisible. Why do we say this? In this episode, we will give you an introduction. The Chinese government is about to implement the Internet ID and Internet certificate systems. On July 26, China's Ministry of Public Security and the Cyberspace Administration of China issued an announcement regarding plans to implement the network number and network certificate systems. This means that China's more than 1 billion internet users may need an Internet ID and Internet certificate to access the internet in the future. This news caused a huge response on the Chinese internet, which has strict information management, and scholars, including professors from Tsinghua University, also questioned this. So what are the network number and network certificate systems? The Beijing government uniformly issues certificates to 1 billion internet users on a voluntary basis. First, you need to register your real identity. After passing the verification, you will get an electronic network identity certificate with a network number. After that, the public must download an app called National Network Identity Authentication Pilot Version. Only after you have done all this can you log into the internet. Although the notice for soliciting opinions clearly states that the deadline for feedback is August 25th, this certified app has already been launched on multiple mobile app stores in China, including 10 government-developed apps and 71 internet apps, such as Taobao and WeChat and Xiaohongshu, etc. Dr. Zhang Tianliang, a professor at Feitian University in the US, said, "Although the Chinese government ostensibly says it is voluntary, this kind of voluntariness does not exist at all because all platforms will enforce it. When it's enforced, you will have to download the National Online Identity Authentication app. Once this app is installed on your phone, the CCP will know all the actions on the phone, including where you drove, how many photos you took, the content of your call with another person, etc. The Chinese Communist Party knows all about it, so it's equivalent to forcibly installing spyware on your mobile phone to monitor all your activity." Another government claimed that after you have an internet license, you do not need to provide your name, address, mobile phone number, etc. when you use other platforms. In fact, the government has moved the most valuable personal data from these platforms to the hands of the government, which will centrally control it. Wang Jian, a blogger at Daily Observation, also believes that the Chinese government is using a two-pronged approach, using cameras in the real space and internet accounts in the virtual space to track, similar to a health code. The so-called health code is a system launched by the Chinese government to track and judge personal health information and activity information to prevent and control the new coronavirus epidemic. Individuals make their own online declarations and a personal QR code can be generated after a back-end review. This QR code must be carried with them wherever they go as an electronic voucher for people to enter and exit. Lao Dongyan, a Tsinghua University Law School professor, published an article in Self Media. The article said that in real space, cameras all over the place plus facial recognition are used to track them, while in virtual space, network certificates are used to control people's behavior on the internet. Figuratively speaking, the network account and network administration system are similar to the health code, an upgraded version of the health code. The governance ideas are exactly the same, except that the health code is normalized and used for the governance of normal society. Regarding social risks, this normalized application is undoubtedly more serious than the health code during the epidemic. Almost all the problems that arose in using health codes will occur again in similar forms. China deploys 2.76 billion video cameras, and the government strictly monitors 1.4 billion people. According to Radio Free Asia, the international market research company IDC released a report predicting that the deployment of video surveillance cameras in China will reach 2.76 billion units by 2022. There are nearly 1.4 billion Chinese people, and each person owns 2 surveillance cameras on average. The report also said that China will spend another 30 billion over the next few years on improving its technological capabilities to track activity. Starting in 2019, Chinese officials have made every effort to build a facial recognition application system called Skynet Project. It's currently the world's largest photographic surveillance system with over 170 million cameras deployed in 16 provinces and cities. The ubiquitous photography lens relies on dynamic face recognition and big data analysis and processing technology to analyze and compare the images captured by the lens and can accurately identify them in as fast as 3 seconds. The scary thing is that these camera lenses can not only recognize faces but also license plates, match faces with license plate numbers, find out a person's whereabouts in the past week, and even match each person's relatives and the people they often come into contact with. It can be said that under the full-time monitoring of the system, people's right to privacy almost no longer exists. The ceiling of a school classroom in Baoding City, Hebei Province is covered with surveillance cameras. Each student has a camera above his head, a 360-degree direct shot of every student's every move. This is the normal configuration of our calligraphy classroom. The camera and touch desktop are matched. This is normal teaching equipment. Let's take a look at the Sky Eye system in Chinese schools. Even a flying insect cannot escape the eyes of this system. What an eye-opener! Today, we will explore the back end of the mysterious smart campus. Let's take a look. This camera covers the entire school and switches every 2 seconds. When you see someone passing by, this lens will follow, and you can see everyone. It's more advanced here. This part of the system is the classroom and canteen. Over there is the campus and environment is colorful. You see, it can be said that no insect can escape the Sky Eye system. When there are bugs here, this system will automatically follow. If there is any movement here, the system will automatically follow to the next system and screen, which will rotate 360 degrees. It's not just surveillance of all kinds that is ubiquitous in China. Recently, a mainland netizen discovered that the TV set in his home was also being monitored. Because the TV at home was somewhat stuck, he checked the system and found that the TV scanned all the devices connected to the internet every 10 minutes, and then automatically transmitted the information, which made him feel very scared. A mainland netizen posted on a social forum on July 23rd that he had recently felt that the TV at home was stuck. I looked at what back-end services were running and found that there was something called Correction Data Service. The netizen said that the TV is an Android system. He studied it carefully and found that this thing scans all the internet-connected devices in the home every 10 minutes and sends back the host name, map, IP, and even the network delay time. It also detects the names of surrounding Wi-Fi and transmits everything to a place called gcdata.com. No matter what smart devices you have at home, or whether your mobile phone is at home, or whoever comes to your home to connect to the internet, or even what the name of your neighbor's Wi-Fi is, data will be collected and uploaded at any time. On August 13th, a netizen also shared a real case. At noon, her colleague was logging into WeChat on the computer, and suddenly the computer was remotely controlled by someone else. The computer is being manipulated. The computer is constantly moving and being manipulated. The true purpose of 2.76 billion video cameras. All activities of Chinese people are under the surveillance of the Chinese government. If a political prisoner needs to be captured, their location can be located immediately and arrested quickly. If a crime like human trafficking occurs, it will never be solved because people know that these cameras are used by the government to monitor people, not to serve the public. For example, in the following video, a video blogger in China said that her friend donated money to Israel in the morning. In the afternoon, the police came to the door to give a warning and take notes. This morning, a friend of mine said that after he donated money to Israel yesterday morning, the police came in the afternoon, took a note, and gave him a warning. To be honest, after hearing this, I just thought it was ridiculous. There is no privacy at all in China. He did not leave his mobile phone number or any home address information when donating, but the police were able to come to the door immediately to give a warning. I found it to be horrifying in addition to being ridiculous. With technology like this now, good technology can be used by bad people, which is indeed worrying. Don't be a thoughtful and maverick person in China. To be honest, the rulers wish everyone could be like that, applauding the animals when they see new equipment in the slaughterhouse. So I believe people all over the world know about this country. Everyone knows if I say it, but if I don't, everyone also knows it. So I really hope that if you can leave this country, you should leave quickly, and if you can't leave, just shut up and don't say anything, or else just wait for the opportunity. Another case shows that establishing a ubiquitous surveillance system is not to protect the safety of the people, but to safeguard the CCP and the government's control. A college student shared that her handbag was stolen by two old men in a subway station full of surveillance cameras, but the police let the thief get away. One netizen said that China's surveillance is only for maintaining stability and does not care about rescue. As one policeman said, they do not serve the people, but serve the law and the party state. At 4:32 p.m. on December 18, 2023, my bag was taken away by an old woman about 60 years old on the conveyor belt at the security check at the subway entrance of Zhengzhou East Station. She was at the subway card gate, opened her big backpack, and quickly hid my bag in her bag. At this time, her husband used his ID card to swipe his subway card, but it could not be opened. At this time, I was looking for my bag behind them, but the old woman who stole my bag stood waiting next to me because she didn't know how to take the subway. Afterwards, her husband went to the subway station staff and the station police to ask how to buy a subway ticket for Line 1. In other words, I was describing what happened to the subway staff, and the search for my handbag was also playing on the radio at the same time. The person who stole the goods was standing at the security checkpoint, and he was standing next to me. At 6:50, I went to the police station to take notes, but during the process they had already left the scene and were missing. The only clue was that they were carrying a lot of large luggage. Maybe they just got off the train at Zhengzhou East Station and were about to take Metro Line 1 to the train station. This is a legal society. Moreover, Zhengzhou East Railway Station and subway stations have a lot of surveillance, and the security checkpoint has no blind spots. The surveillance camera clearly captured the entire process of taking it away and hiding it at the gate. When they could not enter the station after swiping their ID cards, they also took off their masks under their chins and their faces were clearly photographed. However, the police did not act based on the data, and I lost my bag. The Chinese government invented 4 technological combinations to achieve surveillance purposes. In 2022, 2 Wall Street Journal reporters Li Jiahua and Lisa Lin published a new book called Surveillance State Inside China's Quest to Launch a New Era of Social Control. Through years of follow-up reporting, the 2 authors revealed that the Chinese government severely monitors 4 technological combination systems invented by the Chinese people. 1. Build a national database. The Chinese government is using technology to create new political control mechanisms by using complex national databases to link citizens' identification documents, facial recognition data, fingerprints, and personal travel histories. 2. Strengthen behavioral monitoring. The CCP uses security equipment from Chinese technology companies to track cell phones, decrypt privately posted messages, and monitor online purchases. 3. Create a monitoring system. The government authorizes technology companies Huawei, SenseTime, and many other Chinese companies to produce huge closed-circuit television networks, including artificial intelligence software capable of real-time analysis, to form a surveillance system that is not subject to the Chinese legal system and emerging digital privacy codes. 4. Bundle with Western technology. Intel, IBM, Seagate, Cisco, and other Western companies participate in helping Chinese companies with surveillance technology. The Beijing government surveillance of Chinese people is not only in China, but is now also developed to monitor overseas Chinese. On April 17, 2024, the US prosecuted Chinese police and cyberspace administration officials. Because most of them were not in the US and committed crimes through the internet, no one could be arrested. However, this case exposed the CCP's espionage and surveillance methods, which have fully penetrated the US through network technology. Not only do a large number of cyber police produce a large number of fake accounts, they also publish false information to attack and harass overseas people. On April 17th, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of New York prosecuted 2 criminal cases. These 2 cases are related to the CCP and will severely damage the CCP's espionage infiltration in the U.S. In the first case, the U.S. prosecuted 40 police officers from the Ministry of Public Security and 2 officials from the Cyberspace Administration of China. The reason is that they are suspected of using a large number of fake accounts on social media to attack and harass Chinese people who have immigrated overseas. The political stance and speech of these overseas Chinese people make Chinese officials dissatisfied. At the same time, this group of people is also suspected of using the video conferencing software Zoom in 2020 to disrupt a seminar commemorating the Tiananmen incident. Moreover, a Chinese employee in the company at that time was under the command of the CCP authorities. He not only blocked 4 June 4th commemoration meetings on Zoom, but also passed the personal information of these participants, such as their names, emails, and IP addresses, to the CCP.